Hey guys, it's Josh. Today we're going to talk about why companies purchase ExtraHop RevealX for mergers and acquisitions. So let's get started. So how do we provide value? What are some of the things that we do if you've purchased a company, you've acquired a company, and you're inheriting assets that you don't know a lot about and you need to provide security and performance insights? So what are some of those use cases that we can help with? Asset discovery. It's a big one. ExtraHop auto discovers every device on the network without agents or logs. So with a simple deployment, we can discover what you're inheriting. What are you taking over? What's inside this infrastructure? That real-time inventory of all assets that are being acquired, it's important to understand what is it that we're taking over, what types of devices and applications and database and HTTP servers, what is it that we have? That's a great starting place. And we can do this without agents or logs. So it's a really big one. The next one that customers really like is security and compliance gaps. So everyone has a risk that they would need to be able to identify and understand where are our gaps when we inherit these devices and we take over this business. How are we going to merge them? What are some of those gaps that we can do? And the things that we can do is we can audit EDR agents on all devices. So we can see like, all right, what's in that infrastructure? What do we have? We can ensure that firewall rules are set up properly. And we can then start to say, hey, where are you getting your DHCP, DNS, and your administrative privileges and other your application protocols? Are they going to the places that you suspect them to go to? Is it as designed, or are there some anomalies here that you need to investigate in? So let's kind of walk through some of those kind of key use cases at this point. All right. So the first one that we really talked about is the ability to do asset discovery. We can discover all devices. You can do a timeline view. You can look and see and feed those to your SIEM, to your orchestration. You can ServiceNow or your CMDB. So we can say like, all right, what is it that we have in the infrastructure? And this happens to be a device group that I created. Maybe I inherited an area of the infrastructure and I put in the IP addresses that I'm seeing, and I can build this real-time activity map. And then I can look and see what's it doing before the acquisition and after the acquisition. What are those communications looking like? And the green is new and the red is no longer happening. And as I click on these, I can get insights and go directly to those devices to understand what's happening. When I talked about seeing where we have EDR agents, so you have CrowdStrike, maybe you're buying a company that's got Carbon Black or Tanium, we can see those and audit for those particular clients to see where you have coverage with your agents and where you're not. Where are you logging? Where are you not? We can really help you drive that conversation and be that first person on the field to say like, this is what we're dealing with, guys. Here's where we have coverage. Here's where we don't. Here's some of these assets that we don't. Okay. So auditing firewall rules is a big one. So we've inherited this infrastructure. We've bought this company. What is it doing? Our detections are going to start to fire immediately. We're going to see, all right, we're seeing some strange connections. We're seeing some CVE exploits that we shouldn't see. And you can have those detections fire immediately. And then we can roll these directly up to your SIEM. Maybe that you're a company acquiring another one. We can send this data from the company you're acquiring into your master orchestration, which is in your SIEM or your SOAR or your other data lake. If you want, all this data is open and ready for you to be able to ship where you want it to. So maybe you want to understand hey, where are we having outbound, inbound connections that are suspicious? You can see those suspicious connections here, and I can see where they're coming from. If I hit the magnifying glass, I can get detailed infrastructure information about these transactions, who they're communicating, what protocol, and I could even pull the packets and payloads associated with those transactions to be able to say, hey guys, we're acquiring this company, but they got tons of suspicious traffic. Here's where it's at. Here's the payloads. Before we really take this over and sign the dotted line, let's make sure that we are absolutely secure as we possibly can for moving forward. Okay. So running back to my list here, ease of deployment. So with a quick single virtual or physical sensor, we can start to deploy and start to get real-time insights for you. And so what does that look like? So you can see here, very high level design here. It would take a virtual or physical sensor that's 1 or 2U, go to 100 gigs a second in a single box, fully decrypted. We're just going to hang it off of your switch that sits inside that customer's infrastructure. You're going to have them span that data to you out of band, and we can start to derive those insights. If you want some packets, we can deploy payloads so that we can start to ingest and start to see full payload analysis as well. We could deploy in the cloud. So if you have AWS or GCP or Azure assets that you want to take a look at with the same deployment model, we can start to ingest those packets out of band and start to understand what are your cloud workloads looking like. So it's very powerful because you can say, what do we want to do with this? How do we want to manage this going forward? And then the big one, auditing all transactions. So we want to see like every single SSL transactions, database, HTTP, Active Directory, what is happening in these individual areas. What can we do to be able to ensure that we're reporting on these things? So we can start to drive into ExtraHop, and I can go and look at if I wanted to SSL transactions and see like, are we up to snuff on our compliance for expiration? Are we running the appropriate transactions for cipher strength? And so maybe we have a compliance that we can't have any SSL version 3. So I can go right into SSL immediately and say like, we have lots of expiring certs. Or what do we have running TLS 1.0? That's not good. We need, what are these SHA or 128 RC4 MD5 cipher suites? We need to get off those. I can click that, see the certificate client server. So I can immediately start to make hygiene insights very quickly to ensure that the company I'm acquiring or merging with, that we're as secure as we possibly can moving forward. So, and then what do we take that data? I could take this and then I can report on any of this. I can copy this as a dashboard and I can make that a report that I can then send out to anybody I want to. So I build a report with these built-in dashboards. I can email that out as a report. And so you have that at your fingertips for the appropriate team saying, here's what we see. You can also have a real-time one-click executive report of all the devices we've seen. You let it sit for a week and we're going to ship out this report for you that's going to show all the details associated with the security insights and gaps that you have in your environment. And that just happens without you having to do anything. So it's a great tool to be able to understand what you have and where the security issues lie and how to get yourself up to as secure as possible when you're acquiring these companies. Hey guys, hope this is helpful. Thanks so much.